everyone, on this episode we're going to make some keto custard tarts. So let's get started. Our first job is to get our xylitol, and we want to get that into just a small food processor to really get that very fine. So I'm just going to do 2 lots of 1/3 of cups. So you'll see that it's really came down into a fine sort of dust now. We just need that because we're not going to be using caster or icing sugar. So in our big mixing bowl, we're going to add all the ingredients together to make the base. I'm just going to pop the oven on to 100 degrees Celsius and a fan force. That'll just ensure that we have a hot oven when we're ready to go. So first is the almond flour, and we're going to add 1.5 cups. So that's 1 cup. I'm going to add in our 1/3 cup of xylitol that we've put through the blender. We just want 1 egg yolk. Just separate the white from the yolk. There we have our yolk. We've got 1 teaspoon of the vanilla extract. And we want 125 grams of chopped up butter. So we do want that fairly firm, that butter, not melted. And we're going to rub that in all together. The butter up into squares. And we're just going to rub those all together. So I'm just going to pop on my gloves. And mix it through. So the dough is quite sticky, so I'm just going to add just a touch more flour, just so when I'm rolling it out it doesn't get all stuck. We just want to sprinkle it over the top, just so when we're working with it, it doesn't stick. So as you can see, we've got a lovely ball of dough here. and it's going to form the bottom of our tarts. Piece of baking paper so we don't get stuck. So today I'm going to make mini ones, so I'm just going to use my muffin pan. So I just want to make enough of a base to go in each one of these. And we don't want it to be too thick. So you just want to keep dusting the top. Some almond flour. So just using some butter and some paper towel, I'm just going to rub some butter into these so we don't get them sticking. Just want to place our pastry in each one. So we don't want it to be too thick as I suggested. We want it to be just a nice base. I'll go ahead and get that done. There we have it. Our bases are ready to go, and I'm just going to now line them with some baking paper, and we'll put some rice on the top to blind bake them. Okay, so that's all weighted down now with our rice, and I'm going to pop that into the hot oven that we set for 180 for 10 minutes. Now while those cook, I'll just do a quick clean up. Okay, so now we've cleaned up from making the bases and they're in the oven cooking. We're going to make our filling. And with our filling, we are going to have custard made from 3 eggs, some cream, and some xylitol. So we'll go ahead and do what we did as we did in the first step. We just want to get 1/3 of a cup of the xylitol and put it in the mini blender so we can get it really fine. That just helps it to mix through a lot easier. Okay, so that should be nice and fine for us now. It's more like a powder, a bit like caster sugar if you're using normal sugar. Get all the ingredients together. So we'll start with our 3 eggs. And then we'll add in our xylitol, which is 1/3 cup from the mini blender. Then we're going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And then we're going to add 2 tubs of cream, which is 300 ml each. So what we want to do is actually have that out of the fridge from the very beginning because we want it not cold. Go ahead and whisk that all together. I'm going to have that fairly well mixed. Okay, so let's just check on our bases. That's our bases blind baked. We're just going to now pop them out of the oven and remove the rice bottoms. You don't want to spill the rice in. Okay, so now we just want to pop them back in the oven for 5 minutes. I'll check back with you then. Okay, so that's our pies done. I'm just going to take these out of the oven. I'm going to reduce the oven to 140 for our next phase of cooking. Right, we have our mixture here, which will form up the custard. And I'm just going to fill each of the little tarts up. So now I'm going to top them with a little bit of cinnamon. You can use nutmeg if you like, or 5-spice or pumpkin spice, whichever you fancy. I prefer cinnamon. Okay, that's it. Now we're going to pop them in the oven for at 140 for 35 minutes. So we'll check back in. Okay, so that's 35 minutes that our tarts have been in the oven. And they are just set, which is the way we want them for when they come out of the oven. And then we're just going to cool those right down until before we get them out of the pan. Okay, so we've left our tarts for half an hour and the pan is now really cool. So I'm just going to go around each of them just to ensure that they will release. Obviously, if you've done it in a pie tin, you can just use the quick release, which is probably a little easier than this. Okay, now just underneath here I have a cooling tray, which will sit on the top, and then we'll just go ahead and flip them over. Give them a tap on the bottom of each one. That will just help release them, and then hopefully that happens. Our custard tarts. Like that. Just break one in half and give it a taste. Oh, they're good. I've been craving these for a little while, so I thought I'd try and convert a normal recipe into a keto one. I'm very glad I did. Happy cooking!